Good morning, lovelies. Hope you're all well. Hope you're enjoying the sunshine. Hope you've got your water bottles. Anonymous Q's today. It is so hot. 34 degrees in London. I am concerned about getting my steps in. Question number 2. I am scunnered with MyFitnessPal. Can I still use body fat if I don't use it? So, first one. It's so hot, 34 degrees in London. I am concerned about my steps. I would agree, it is very warm, alright? But, there's always a but, isn't there? A caveat. Just because it's warm does not mean that you shouldn't be hitting your goals. That is the wanky answer, right? But top tips, as always, alright? You maybe need to be a bit clever about how often and when you do your steps. So if you normally go out for a walk at lunchtime, right, and it's going to be 34 degrees, and you actually need to go back to work after it, that's maybe not your best idea. So you maybe need to split your walks, your lunchtime walk, into 2 walks. So one in the morning before it gets super roastingly warm, and maybe another one later on in the evening, right? Now, most people do not work later on in the evening, so all you'll actually be doing is sitting on the sofa or sweating on the sofa, maybe watching some television. So you could actually go out for a walk, all right? And also, evenings, my lovelies, do you know, they're not just for sitting on the telly. I get it, do you know, the weather's beautiful. Maybe you'll be out doing the garden or whatever, and that's absolutely amazing. But you could totally go out and get a couple of miles under your belt. Do you know, I'm not saying you need to speed walk, but we've still got goals to hit. You just need to be a bit clever about how you hit them. So, yes, all right. Second question, I'm scunnered with MyFitnessPal. Can I lose body fat by not using it? Right, MyFitnessPal is data. That is all it is. It's data, right? So the more data we have, technically the easier it is to lose body fat, all right? However, it can be scunnering sometimes. So yes, you can lose body fat. You can lose body fat by you could write everything down if that's a wee bit easier for you. If you're like a notepad kind of gal, right, you could write everything down in a notepad. You could take pictures of your food. So instead of tracking things on MyFitnessPal, you could take pictures. Or you could just try and eat mindfully and go back to the likes of the Eat Well plate. So if you visualise the Eat Well plate, all right, you've got half a plate of fruit and veggies, quarter of a plate of protein, quarter of a plate of starchy carbs, and a thumb-sized piece of fat, roughly. It doesn't actually have to be thumb-sized, but you know, if you were having some cheese, you would grate that, or you could have some salad dressing or something, or butter, or whatever your fat is, all right? So you could do that for the Eat Well plate. So if you're going to do that 3 times a day and have a couple of snacks, and try and make one of your snacks fruit or veggies, and another snack a protein-based snack, all right? And then obviously you can still spend your 20% on your 20% of your calories on your tasty food for maybe your supper or whenever you have it. So yes, it is possible, all right? Quite a lot of people, we get hung up on MyFitnessPal, and it's probably the easiest option, as in you don't really need to think about it, right? Providing you're in the right headspace to do that. And if you're not in the right headspace to do that, then you can do alternatives. The important thing is just to not sack it off and start shoveling in the pizza every night of the week, all right? So yes, loads. All right, hope that's helpful. Ta-ta.